Salmon is seeing it's a great beginning of a new and rapid change, and it would be a great pleasure for me to be a part of the team that gets that right. What our city needs right now is a 50-year plan vision to ensure that we don't have patchwork policies that end up conflicting later on 3 or 5 years down the road. I see that mistake in so many other cities, and I don't want to see that happen here. My diverse history and interests, I think, position me well to look at the very long term, ask the right questions to get us there, and to ensure a path to the greatest efficiency. Through SFU, the Okanagan College here in town, plus TRU, I've studied pretty much everything from chemistry, calculus, physics, to history, English, economics, you name it. If it doesn't start with an A, I've taken it. My work experience is 22 years in the labor force in the railway industry, aerospace, and the forestry industry. I've been working steady here at the mill now for a good 10 years. So let's take a look at the 50-year mark and what does that mean for us? Well, firstly, one thing we could look at is a doubling of our population and how we could prepare for that. That would make us approximately the size of what Vernon is today. So one thing we have to take into account is our city limits, expanding our city limits. If we look at that today, we could use that to control our housing costs before they balloon out of control. So we have more space for housing and we can keep it on an affordable basis. Second, it also means that our hospital obviously is going to be needing expansion for a population that size. And we can do that properly if we look at a specialized industry for Salmon Arm, say imaging, that we can focus on so we can bring in people to Salmon Arm for our medical needs instead of shipping people out. Third, it also means attracting new industries. The rec center comes to mind for me. If we're going to build it, let's do it right so we can have national competitions here, so we can have all-season visitors coming to our city. But that's all just the beginning of it. Every time I look down 50 years down the road, and we got a lot of road work to work on, by the way, a whole whack of possibilities come to mind, and my mind just never stops thinking about what we can do here. And by thinking about 2069, we can answer today's challenges in a meaningful way. Thank you for your time.
The next candidate is Wayne Matthews.
Good evening, Borough Council, candidates, volunteers, residents of Salmon Arm, for being here this evening and debating the future of our community. My name is Wayne Matthews, and I have had the pleasure and privilege of living in Salmon Arm for many years. During my time in Salmon Arm, I have enjoyed a great deal quality of life and look forward to being a part of this, sustaining that quality of life as we move forward. If granted the opportunity to serve you, my style will be to be approachable. I want to engage with the people, to hear their stories, listen to their concerns, and represent them on council. Simply stated, my motive for serving on council is to help the people of Salmon Arm. To this goal, I will achieve one of us at a time. I try to. Our town is a great town. It is said that 22% of the population of Salmon Arm is comprised of senior citizens. And I just made that the other day. I believe that they and their children and grandchildren are the backbone of this community. My desire is to see the trend continue. I bring a business background to the position I'm seeking. With that comes an appreciation of the value a business sector brings to our future. Hence, I am committed to ensuring our infrastructure provides a solid platform for business to enjoy stable growth and long-term disability. People have asked what my opinion on one thing or another. I try to be careful with my opinions. I believe the position of councillor is about listening to the people, carefully considering their options and seeking for the best solution that meets the need of our community. Rather than allowing with a particular agenda. I believe people want their council to be people who listen with the goal of finding reasonable, affordable, and sensible solutions. Those solutions may not always align with my personal opinion, but that's okay. At that point, my opinion is irrelevant. I want to do the best for our community. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The next candidate is Salmon.
Thank you so much for hosting us this evening. My name is Carmen Cron. I serve School District 83 in the capacity of behavior consultant. I was raised as a Mennonite in Saskatchewan, and although I was raised in a family of small businesses, I went on to university. I have a master's degree in theology and ethics, and I'm certified in applied behavior analysis, both of which say something about the skills that I bring to City Council. I added a little leaf to my campaign posters because as I read the official community plan, and as we hear in many ways this evening, we're talking a lot about growth. And the intended outcomes of growth are clear. In the strategic plan, it's described as a good quality of life for all. But as I read in greater detail through the official community plan, it talks about things like diversity and inclusion. Those to me are some of the unintended outcomes of growth, right? As we grow, we are going to grow more diverse. Did you see the response to the rainbow crosswalk? To what extent are we prepared to carry out the recommendations of the Truth and Reconciliation Report? We have some work to do because diversity can be scary. It is not enough to say that we are inclusive and Salmon Arm. We must overtly say that we stand against hate and discrimination. One of the most comfortable ways of getting to know different ways of life is through arts and culture. So there are some in the serious business of running a city who will say that arts and culture are just an indulgence, when in fact, to me, they are an equal counterpart to infrastructure and industry. Because if we're going to grow, we need to get to know our neighbors, and we got to do it in safe and enjoyable ways. Another unintended outcome to growth is changes to our sense of safety. I live in Canoe, so I know if somebody's in my backyard, I'm going to hear about it in 8 seconds because I know everybody. But as we grow, that is less likely to happen. I am certified in violent threat risk assessment, which is a Canadian method developed after Columbine. I work with law enforcement, protections and public safety, and with mental health and addiction. And I am committed to the unintended outcomes of growth, including our social, our emotional, and intellectual growth as a community. Thanks again.
Thank you so much. Our next candidate is Salmon.
I had to move my chair. They put me really close to the stairs. So, good evening. I'd like to thank everyone for coming out tonight and showing a passion for your community and an interest in what we have to say, because the people who will be elected are making decisions on your behalf for the next 4 years. So, I'd also like to thank the candidates for all the work that they're putting in and the ideas that they're bringing forward. So, if everyone give them a big round of applause, please. I was born and raised in Salmon. I was first elected to council in 2005, and I'm asking you guys for the right to serve on my 5th term as a city councillor. My first platform, I wanted to bring in curbside recycling, curbside garbage, and curbside composting. I wanted to make transit free for kids. Together, we banned pesticides as well. We brought in coach houses. And we're not done. Salmon Arm is one of the fastest growing communities in British Columbia. And over the past 3 years, we built 300 new single-family detached homes. That means this room is full of 1,200 new neighbors in our community. Our schools are full, and it's an exciting time. Over that time, At council, we've approved, some controversial large commercial developments, but we've also seen a boom in the recent years in Salmon. But it's not enough. It's not enough. People talk about jobs. People want more jobs. But we can't have jobs in Salmon Arm if there's nowhere for people to live or people to move here to take those jobs. So we at council have to take advantage of the first time that the provincial and federal government has provided funding for affordable housing in 25 years. It's time for us to step up. It's not a city job, but we need to do it so our economy can continue to grow. We need to do a few other things. One of the things we need to move our public works yard so we have more fields and we have a running track. We need to work with the college so we have student housing, so we can attract and retain young people instead of losing our talent to other larger centers. Long term, we need to look at a bypass so we can get the transport trucks out of downtown Salmon Arm.
Here, here.
And one more thing. For the safety and the expansion of our vibrant downtown, we need the underpass. Thank you very much.
Our next candidate, Kevin Flynn.
Well, I'm the opposite of most people. These have to come off for me to read, and now you're all just a blur. Good evening to everyone who's taken the time to come out and listen to all the candidates here who have bravely decided to give up a portion of their lives to serve our wonderful community. If your election campaign is successful, I will tell you this is not a job for the faint of heart, nor is this a job where you will regularly be praised for the work you do. Believe it or not, you may be criticized for some decisions. I'm not going to stand up here and tell you all the reasons why I think you should vote for me. I am a UBC grad in business, and I'll tell you that I have been on council for 13 years. I'm part of that 70, and have owned a local financial planning employee benefits business for 22 years. I do have, through this role and others, significant board governance and fiscal management experience, both locally, regionally, and provincially. I'm also not going to provide you with a brochure that I know you're just going to throw away. After 5 or 6 elections, I have done a lot of recycling of brochures. Thanks, Chad. We are all on display for your viewing tonight. I am going to stand here and trust that you really listened to what each of these candidates stated, stand for, and what they are going to promise or have promised should they get elected. Ask yourself, are a lot of the promises realistic? Are these candidates able to back up their promises once elected? Are the promises possible given limited municipal responsibility and financial constraints? What I will promise you all is that I will continue to be outspoken, assertive, and passionate for Salmon Arm. I can also promise you that I'm open to listening to all opinions, but I definitely will not promise I will always agree with you. I will listen, I will digest and process input, and I will promise to continue to do my research in all areas that come across my desk, and as always, keep the good of Salmon Arm and its citizens in the forefront of all my decisions. I will continue to be a positive team player. I have thoroughly enjoyed working with the 5 council candidates running for election, and I know the time and commitment this job requires. My family also knows the sacrifices that I have to make, and I have 2 sons and a brand new grandchild that all are living and working and going to raise their families in Salmon Arm. So I care about Salmon Arm. I ask you to allow me to continue to be a voice, a loud one at that, for our community. I ask you to re-elect positive experience, a team player, and just remember, I am 7th on the ballot, lucky 7, and you win with Flynn. Or if that one's not good enough, remember Kevin at 7. Yes to the underpass for connectivity and safety, and please, all of you, complete the community survey for our future recreational facility. Thank you very much for coming, and thank you to everybody for putting yourselves up here.